We know you're ready for some Jacksonville Jaguars. How do they get it done against this team with the next generational talent at quarterback? We're going to get into it today. No intro, no nothing, no fluff. This is the game plan. Gary's going to have the primer for all the stats you need to know coming up in just a minute. But we have to start. He's Dan Harms. I'm Ryan Tracy. Welcome to the show. Like, sub, hit that bell if you're not one of us already. And we're going to get started right now because job number one for this team is to recover from last week and protect yourself. Protect Patrick Mahomes. It must be done. There's no way around it. It is formidable. It's not just Josh Allen that the Chiefs were rumored to be interested in before the trade deadline. Didn't get it done, obviously. It's also Trayvon Walker because he is a freak athlete that is still coming along as an edge rusher, and that actually plays into it. He's going to see Andrew Wiley. He's also going to have some reps where he moves inside like he did at Georgia and attack Trey Smith, who I still feel is maybe only 70% healthy. That's going to be trouble. I think that this is something that can be the tripping point. They can't afford to have Patrick throw 60 times again. So you have to make the reps that he does throw better quality by protecting him better.
I like that. Maybe use a little bit more some draw plays to get some of those defensive ends off the line. But speaking back to last week, you pointed out the issues they had in protection. We saw the defense get tested on the outside with some one-on-one matchups. This is a different situation. Trevor Lawrence is a much better downfield thrower, much better, really more of an aggressive quarterback throwing into windows. Spagnuolo is going to blitz him as well in this game, so he's going to take some chances. Marvin Jones, Zay Jones, funny enough, has come along in his NFL career to be on the outside with Marvin Jones. The two Joneses are going to find themselves in matchups with rookie corners, whether it's Joshua Williams, whether it's Jalen Watson, whether it's Trent McDuffie. They're going to get tested in different ways in this game by a better quarterback who's more likely to make accurate throws downfield. And we have seen Josh Allen and some other quarterbacks be able to exploit that in the past couple of years. Maybe this is the year that they try to, get those young guys on better islands and they are better prepared to deal with the better talent and the better quarterback throwing them the football this week.
I hope that they do because there's a couple of matchups that are going to go. And it's not to take away from Travis Etienne because he's been on a tear and the Chiefs defense does have to focus on them. But even more focus is what happens to Travis Kelce week after week after week. This is a really interesting matchup because I think they're going to try to use Devin Lloyd like we saw him used in college where he could track down an average quarterback, maybe even, not quarterback, tight end, maybe even a good tight end. Going up against a Hall of Famer like Travis Kelce is not the same thing, but I think they're going to try it. So can Travis survive and not get beat up by a kid that has length, has speed, and can get physical when he needs to? I hope that they do that. I hope that they scheme Travis open a little bit better because might not have McCole Hardman this week. Going to have to do some other things with some other targets. It all still flows through Travis, but you got to give him a chance to make the most out of his reps as well.
Yeah, without McCole Hardman, they're going to have to do different things. Scheme-wise, Travis Kelce probably has a much bigger role than he did, last week in terms of scheme usage. He was just kind of winning a lot last week. But this comes back to what they're going to do differently. They used McCole Hardman's speed to the best of his ability throughout the entire season. I think without McCole Hardman this week, you'll probably see more Sky Moore, probably see more Kadarius Toney, but now you have to use MVS's speed. They have to start maybe running the ball a little bit better. And if you want to start using MVS's speed properly, you need him running deep posts, deep goes, deep outs, all of these things that utilize his speed properly. He is not a guy that you can line up like McCole Hardman used on jet sweeps. That's just not his game. He's 6'4". He can't do it. It's just not where you're going to be able to use him. You can use him and maybe a little bit more of the wide receiver screen, but he is predominantly a downfield weapon. Hopefully we see this week them attack this secondary of the Jacksonville Jaguars, get him downfield on a couple deep balls, get his confidence up because he doesn't have any right now. So use his speed and scheme him up the best way for this offense without McCole Hardman.
Yeah, give Patrick the most that he can. That's our 4 minutes of fury and 4 points to get this win. Now, Gary's going to run down the stats you need to know about how they get that done. Here's Gary.
All right, ladies and gents, let's hit this week's stat primer. This is the 14th matchup between the Chiefs and the Jaguars in the regular season. The Chiefs own the regular season matchup, having a 7-6 record against the Jaguars. The Chiefs have won their last 5 regular season matchups versus Jacksonville, and Coach Andy Reid is 4-0 versus the Jaguars during his time with Kansas City. Looking at the two teams' offenses, the Jaguars don't do much particularly well. They don't lead the league in very many categories. They are good in 2. Rushing yards per play. They have averaged 5.1 yards per rush in 2022. That's ranked 4th in the NFL. They've also done a good job keeping Trevor Lawrence clean in the pocket. They have a sack percentage of 3.7%, which is good for 3rd in the NFL. They also have a top 10 third down offense, converting 43% of their third down attempts. Looking at the Chiefs side of the ball offensively, they have the Jaguars beat in nearly every offensive category except for rushing yards per play. So the Chiefs have averaged 7.1 yards per pass attempt so far in 2022. That's good for 4th in the NFL. In terms of yards per play, they're averaging 6.2, which is good for 3rd in the NFL. The Jaguars are averaging 5.7 yards per play, which is 10th in the NFL. So while the Jaguars don't have the Chiefs beat in many offensive categories, they're no slouch by any means. Their offense has played fairly effectively through the year. So this shouldn't be an easy game for the Chiefs defense. Speaking of defense, the two teams, comparatively speaking, have somewhat similar defenses, except for in terms of points per game. So the Chiefs have allowed 23.6 points per game, which ranks 20th in the NFL, whereas the Jaguars have allowed 19.8 points per game, which is good for 10th in the NFL. They're fairly comparable in terms of yards per play allowed. The Chiefs have allowed 5.5 yards per play. The Jaguars have allowed 5.4 yards per play. One difference is that the Chiefs rank 26th in turnover percentage, while the Jaguars rank 14th. So some of the differences between the two teams' points per game allowed are likely due to the fact that the Jaguars have been able to force more turnovers than the Chiefs have so far this season. However, I also want to make a note that Jacksonville has not played the most brutal schedule of quarterbacks so far this season. In fact, it's been pretty easy. Week 1, they had Carson Wentz. Week 2, they had Matt Ryan. Week 3, they had Justin Herbert, which is a rough opponent. Week 4, they had Jalen Hurts, another rough opponent. Then they had Davis Mills, Matt Ryan again, Daniel Jones, and Russell Wilson. So out of the 8 games they've played so far this season, only 2 have been against top-tier quarterback competition. And I think that is interesting because although they haven't played the hardest schedule of quarterbacks, they rank 20th in the NFL defensively in terms of yards per passing play allowed. They've allowed 6.4 yards per pass attempt, which brings me to the first strength versus weakness matchup in this game, and that is the Chiefs' passing attack versus the Jaguars' passing defense. Look for Mahomes to get cooking early and have a big game. The Chiefs are averaging 7.1 yards per passing play, which is good for 4th in the NFL. And just like we mentioned, the Jaguars are ranked 20th. So you want to hope to see Mahomes get hot early and cruise through the game, throwing for big numbers. In terms of strength versus strength matchup, I believe this is a game that's going to be won in the trenches. So the Jaguars have the 4th best rushing offense in the NFL, as we noted, and the Chiefs have the 13th best rushing defense in the NFL. So these are two fairly strong units, which means that if the Chiefs go in the trenches and make the Jaguars one-dimensional, it will help how the defense plays throughout the game and holding the Jaguars to fewer points. Also in the trenches, both teams have a good pass rush. The Chiefs are 4th in the NFL with a 26.1% pressure percentage. The Jaguars are 10th in the NFL with a 19.8 pressure percentage. So both teams are doing a good job of getting after the quarterback. In terms of offense, both teams are also good at keeping their quarterback clean and safe from the opponent's pass rush. The Jaguars rank 3rd in the NFL, only allowing a sack on 3.7% of their dropbacks, as we mentioned before. And the Chiefs are ranked 5th, only allowing a sack on 4.6% of their dropbacks. So the trenches are going to be huge in this game. If one team can get an advantage as far as getting after the quarterback, causing them to make quick throws, it'll bode very well for that team's defense and the outcome of the game. So I'm really looking at the trenches in this game. Can the Chiefs' front 7 stop the Jaguars' rushing attack, and can they get after Trevor Lawrence? If they can't do either of those, it might be a long day for the Chiefs' defense. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Chiefs' defense is going to play well in this game. Looking at our predictions, Ryan has predicted the Chiefs will win 35-24. Dan has predicted the Chiefs will win 31-17. And I am predicting the Chiefs will win 30-13. I've got a strong feeling about the Chiefs' defense in this game. What do you think the score is going to be? What are your predictions? let us know in the comments. And as always, make sure you like and subscribe if you like what you see here. With that, this is Gary, RGR Football, signing out. Thanks for swinging by, and go Chiefs.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.